grab some water, either take a layer off, add one on, whatever is gonna make you feel super duper cozy and comfy for this next hour, because this is your hour. And so taking the time to set up to make the most of it is absolutely essential. Oh, all right. Welcome, welcome, friends. All right. For those of you that haven't ever had a class with me before, my name is Keelan. I'm a Kripalu trained yoga teacher. And so, what that means is my whole relationship to yoga and practice around yoga is about each person feeling empowered to be comfortable in their own body in a pose. So, your downward facing dog may look different than my downward facing dog. And I'll point out ways to keep your body in alignment to make sure that you're being safe in your practice. But fundamentally, it's up to you to decide what's right for you in this moment and to have some fun along the way. Mm. Last sip of water. All right. And our theme for today's class is inquiry. So we're going to really be living with and sitting with the questions of, when I do this, I feel this. What would it feel like in my body if I did this? And so everything we're doing and moving through today, and there will be a lot of flows and movements today to give you the opportunity to really sit with that question of inquiry. And, like what happens in my body when, like taking this next hour to really cultivate this connection to the physical body that you're in today. And just as a pointer, I often sit on a yoga block, but if you're at home and you don't have a block, you could sit on pillows, or folded blankets are another great alternative. And just finding a comfortable seat here, letting the day start to sort of settle off you. And let's start with 3 big breaths in through the nose, out of the mouth through the lips, just like literally like shaking it off. A big breath in and out. And one more time, in and out. And we're gonna take all of that, like all the energy from today, and we're gonna squeeze up the body real tight. Squeeze up the shoulders, squeeze up the fists, the arms, the face, squidge it up a bit. And then on an exhale, sigh out of the mouth. So 2 more of those. Squeeze, 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 tight, tight, tight. Even the abdomen, the thighs, every muscle of the body. And exhale to soften. And one more time, make the most of it. Squishiest face of the day yet. And softening, relaxing, allowing the eyes to soften or close also here. And begin to turn your awareness inward. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Nice and slow. Asking yourself the question, how does it feel when the air enters the body through the nose? How does it feel when the breath exits the body through the nose? Is there any sensation in the hairs of the nose? Is there any stuffiness? If you are having difficulty breathing in and out of the nose, then you can also just imagine it in your mind, like breathe in through your mouth and out through your mouth, but in your mind, imagining that you're breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Begin to elongate the exhale until it is twice as long as the inhale. Really slowing down, perhaps even luxuriating in that exhale. As you do this, begin to feel the muscles of the body soften. Take note if the mind starts to slow down a little bit, if you become a bit more present and embodied. Continuing with this nice slow breath, begin to just notice what's transpiring in your inner landscape, what's shifting and changing physically, mentally, emotionally. What happens when you begin to slow it all down to be more present in this moment? An option here to layer on the ujjayi breath to give a sound to this experience. This is done by creating a slight restriction in the back of the throat to create a hissing sound or a Darth Vader sound. This can be done on both the inhale and the exhale, knowing that the tighter that restriction is, the deeper the sound will be, the louder it will be. If you experience any dizziness here, then I would offer to you to soften that restriction, as that generally means you're not getting enough airflow to the brain. That's not what we want here. Taking 3 more of these deep breaths. And after the next exhale, release any controlled state of breathing and allow yourself to just be here for a moment, observing what's shifted from when you first came to the mat to now. Mm. Then, when you're ready, allowing the eyelids to flutter open. And on an inhale, tuck the chin into chest. And on an exhale, lift the gaze up towards the ceiling and allow the mouth to open so you can go even a little bit further. Inhale to tuck the chin into chest. Nice, gentle yes movements here with the head. And exhale to lift. Moving with the divine timing of your own breath cycle. Mm. The next time you exhale, bring your gaze straight ahead once again, lifting tall through the crown. And then this time on the exhale, go side to side. So exhale, turn to look over one shoulder. Inhale to return to center. Exhale to come to the other side. So now these nice, gentle no movements with the neck. Feeling the flow in the body here and establishing this connection of breath to movement. One more time on each side here. And the next time you come back through to center, bring one palm to the earth and inhale, reach the other arm out and over the opposite ear, leaning to the side. Reaching out and feeling that stretch that starts in the hip bone and comes all the way up through the armpit. And if you're not feeling that, then see what it would be like to maybe come down onto the forearm, keeping both thighs connected to the earth, or perhaps opening up that shoulder a little bit, just exploring sensation in this body. What is it that your body is aching to tell you right now? Inhale to come all the way back through to center, and then exhale on over to the other side. Once again, exploring the levels of sensation you can have here based on these micro movements you can make to adjust the posture. Keeping that strong connection to the breath, in through the nose and out through the nose. Mm. Inhale to come all the way up through to center. And then this time, bring the palms in front of you, spread the fingers wide, making sure you're in this Sukhasana position where one leg is in front of the other. With these palms, use an inhale to reach up high towards the sky. And then exhale, forward fold, bringing the tops of the hands to the earth. So shoulder creases shining out, coming onto those forearms. Head can hang down and gently swaying side to side. Moving at any pace that feels good to you. This rocking gesture can be so soothing. Mm. One more breath cycle coming side to side here. And then inhale, fire up the belly, hinging back up from the hips to that seated position. This time bringing the opposite leg in front now. Mm. Bring those fingers wide in front of you and inhale to reach and lift up towards the sky. And exhale, forward fold tops of the hands to the earth, coming onto those forearms. Eyes can soften or close, or gaze as gently on the earth in front of you. Mm. Feeling that deep breath coming in through the nose, and exhale to release that breath back out into the world. Swaying side to side here. Feeling the stretch in the side body, feeling the opening in the hips. Inhale brings you back up to that seated position, lifting tall, extending through the crown, abdomen active and engaged, and exhale, twist and turn, looking out, back behind your shoulder. Each inhale is an opportunity to lift and lengthen tall through the crown. Each exhale, an opportunity to twist and turn, looking farther past that back shoulder. Breathing deep here, finding a moment of pause in the body. Asking yourself if you're finding any resistance in your physical body, emotional body, or mental body to this stillness. Inhale to come back through to center. And then exhale to journey on over to the other side. Breathing deep here. Asking yourself the question, what is bubbling up in you? What's ready to be seen and heard, witnessed, and validated? Inhale to come back through to center. If you are using any props, you can scooch those on out of the way. And then roll forward onto hands and knees here. Coming into tabletop pose. Knees are stacked under hips. Hands are stacked under shoulders. Taking a big deep breath in through the nose. Exhale, melt the hips back and down, coming into a child's pose, forehead to the earth. Pausing here for a breath cycle in through the nose and out through the nose. Inhale to rise back up to tabletop. Nice straight line from the tip of the tailbone all the way through the crown of the head. Once again, pausing here for a breath cycle in through the nose and out through the nose. Inhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips all the way up and back, coming into a downward facing dog. You can bend the knees if you need to help you get that length through the spine, bringing the neck into alignment with the arms. Pausing here once again for a breath cycle in through the nose, out through the nose. Inhale, lift the right leg up towards the sky, three-legged dog. Big breath in, big breath out. Bend that right knee, bringing it all the way up and through. Right knee by the right hand, right foot by the left thigh. That That left leg slides back. And inhale, coming up onto fingertips into king pigeon. Taking a big breath in through the nose and out through the nose, letting that exhale bring you all the way down to a reclined pigeon. That might be arm stacked on arm or fist stacked on fist. Or if you happen to have a block, you could use that too, just finding something to connect to here. Taking a big deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Inhale, begin to make your way back up to king pigeon. And then planting those palms, tucking the back toes under, and inhale, returning to that three-legged dog with the right leg lifted. Exhale, dropping that knee down and coming back into downward facing dog. Pausing for a breath cycle here. Inhale, dropping the knees down, coming back to tabletop position. Once again, big breath in, big breath out, and then melting the hips back and down to child's pose. Asking yourself, what are you learning about your body through these movements? As you inhale, come back up to tabletop pose, pausing for that breath cycle. And then tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back, returning to downward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out, feeling that flow of energy and using the next inhale to lift the right leg. Three-legged dog. Big breath in, big breath out. Inhale, bend that knee, bring the leg all the way up and through, behind the hands and in the middle of the mat. So my knees are just right behind my hands and in the middle. And then bring the left leg behind the right, coming into cow. I'll turn so you can see. So the right leg is on top of the left leg, coming out to either side. Tush is on the earth, sitting up tall, lifting through the crown. Inhale, open up wide. Exhale, opposite arm on top with the arms and is on the legs, coming to the elbows, bending at the elbows and coming into eagle arms, but either a single wrap or a double wrap. Inhale, lift those arms up, pausing for a breath cycle in through the nose and out through the nose. Inhale, lean forward onto the hands and then hop the feet back into a plank. Taking a big breath in, a big breath out, and then exhale, dropping the knees and coming back to tabletop. Pausing here for a breath cycle. We're going to do the whole same flow on the other side now. So big breath in, exhale, big breath out, clearing that energy as we reset for the other side. Melting the hips back and down to child's pose, pausing for a breath cycle here. Big breath in through the nose. Big breath out through the nose. Inhale to lift back up to tabletop. Pausing here, taking the time in between each of these poses. And then tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Keeping that nice flat back. Integrity in the poses so we can be doing them for another 100 years. Inhale, lift the left leg up towards the ceiling. Three-legged dog, making sure that left hip is not higher than the right hip. Keeping your center here. On the next inhale, bend that knee, bring the knee all the way up and through, left knee by left hand, left foot by right thigh as you slide that right thigh back. Inhale to come up onto the fingertips, king pigeon, perhaps even bringing the hands to heart center here. And then inhale and begin to melt your body down to the mat, coming into a reclined pigeon. Pausing here, big breath in, big breath out. Inhale to make your way back up to King Pigeon. Using the breath here to make the most of this time on the mat. And then dropping the palms, tucking the back toes under. Inhale, lift that left foot all the way back up to the sky. And exhale, bringing it back down to the earth. Dropping to the knees, returning to tabletop pose. Big breath in through the nose, big breath out through the nose. And exhale, melt the hips back and down into child's pose, forehead to the earth. Taking this breath cycle as a moment of respite. Inhale to come right back up to tabletop pose. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. Tuck the toes, lifting the hips up and back, coming into downward facing dog. Bending the knees if you need to find that length through the spine. And then inhale, left leg rises, three-legged dog, keeping those hips square. And on the next inhale, bend that knee, bring it to the center of the mat, right behind the hands. The right leg comes back behind the left and sitting back here on the hips. So cow legs here. Inhale to lift and lengthen through the crown while connecting to the abdomen, opening up wide through your heart space. Exhale, opposite arm on top as the leg, meeting at the elbows, bending and coming either into one wrap or two. And then inhale, lifting the arms up. Take a big deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Inhale to lean forward, coming onto the hands, and then hopping back into a plank. Pausing here for a few breaths. And then inhale to lift the hips up and back. Exhale to return back to that plank. So now a little flow between plank and downward facing dog, finding these movements and asking what shifts and changes in the body when you're in this flow state. What happens when we don't hyper focus on the pose because we're moving from one thing to the next? Can there be more freedom in this body? Perhaps more celebration of this body? The next time you exhale, bring the knees to the earth, melt the hips back and down, and pause in child's pose, allowing yourself 4 deep breaths here. Having brought some heat to the physical body, what do you want to do with that heat? Cultivate it with intention. What is your purpose? Inhale to rise back up to that tabletop pose. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, bend that knee, step the foot all the way up and through. And then bring the back foot up to meet the front foot, coming into a forward fold. Allowing yourself to hang here for the moment, feeling the backs of the legs opening up here. If the hands don't come to the earth, you could use a block to lift the earth to you, or you could bend the knees. Finding something that feels cozy, perhaps wiggling side to side here to get a bit of a side stretch. You can walk your hands to one side of the mat and then the other. Making sure you're keeping a deep connection to the breath here. Inhale, bend the knees, arms come out wide, reverse swan dive all the way up to the palms touch overhead, leaning back. And exhale to slide the hands to heart center, coming into mountain. So feet hip width distance apart, slight micro bend in the knees, thighs active and engaged, pulling towards each other. Pelvis slightly tilted forward and lift and lengthen tall through the crown. Exhale to soften the shoulders down the back body. Hands come to either side, fingers spread out wide, the whole body active and engaged here. Breathing deep, taking a big breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Beautiful. Inhale, hands rise to the sky. Exhale to dive down to the toes. Inhale to come to a halfway lift, hands on knees or arms extended straight out, back and behind. Exhale to come back to the earth. Inhale, bend the knees, lift and rise high, back up to the sky. And exhale to bring it back down to the heart. Pausing here to take a big breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Inhale to lift. Exhale to dive. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale back to the earth. Inhale, hands come to the heart, bend the knees, hips come back and down, coming into chair pose. Exhale to come back to the earth. Inhale, bend the knees, lift and rise high. Exhale to bring it back to the heart. Pausing here for a breath cycle, in through the nose and out through the nose, building off each salutation here. Inhale to lift. Exhale to dive. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale to return to the earth. Inhale, hands to heart center, bend the knees, hips back and down. And then exhale, twist to one side. The knee finds the opposite elbow, palms pressing together to keep the heart space open. Inhale to come back through to center. Exhale to twist to the other side. Inhale to come through to center. And exhale to return to the toes. Inhale to bend those knees, lift and rise high to the sky. And exhale to bring it back down to the heart. Standing tall at the front of your mat, knowing that all of our standing poses are rooted in mountain pose. This is the foundational pose for all standing poses. So we're going to take all of this energy, and you can bring the hands to the hips and take a big step back about a leg's length with the left foot, balancing on the ball of that foot, front knee over front ankle, and hips squared to the front of the mat. So right hip comes back as the left hip comes forward, lifting tall through the crown while softening the shoulders. And then inhale the arms out side to shoulder height, rotate the palms up, and then continue all the way up to the sky. It can be helpful to find a focal point, something that's not moving, even if you are. And breathe. Pausing here and holding. What does it feel like to find that stillness amidst the movement? Is it easier to listen to the body and what's coming up from this place? And that answer is different for everybody. It's just worth it to ask in these spaces where there's a little bit less to focus on. Big breath in, and then come to a 45 or 90-degree angle with that back foot, dropping it all the way to the earth. Shoulders square to the long end of the mat now. And inhale, open up the arms at shoulder height, gazing over that front hand, rotating it palm up. Ready for whatever is coming towards you in this life, knowing that this body is here to aid you in all that you do. And then inhale, top hand comes up as back hand finds that back leg. Exhale to come back to warrior two. So just a little flow, having fun with it, letting these movements be an expression of you. What is it that your body wants right now? Maybe it's something totally different. And if it is, honoring that. Mm. Inhale this time. Bring that front knee to the front elbow. Opposite arm reaches out and over the ear, coming into a side angle. That hand or that elbow can stay where it is, or if you'd like to come a little deeper, you could bring that hand down to the earth. Breathing deep here. Keeping the abdomen active and engaged, keeping the muscles of the shoulders and the face softened. And then inhale as if you're grabbing onto a giant hook here with the left hand. Pull all the way back up to that warrior two. Straighten out that front leg. And exhale, slide the hands forward as far as you can. And then pivot just the arms, keeping that abdomen active and engaged here. Breathing deep. Remembering that you have all the tools you need to be successful in this space, and that your body is here to serve you, to be in relationship with you in this life. One more big breath in through the nose. Allow that front knee to bend. Pinwheel both hands down to the earth to frame that foot. Step the right foot back to meet the left, and then coming on to the forearms here. Inhale, the hips lift up and back, coming into dolphin. Exhale, coming forward into a forearm plank. Inhale, up into dolphin, hips come back and up. Exhale, forearm plank. Few more breath cycles here. Remember, you've got this. Whatever expression of these poses you are in right now is magnificent. I have no doubt in my mind. All right, one more time. Inhale to lift up. And exhale, drop the knees. Knees together, feet together, melt the hips back and down into child's pose. Pausing here for 2 breaths to reset. Fully prepared to move on to the next side of the body. Inhale to come back up, tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and back. Inhale to lift that left leg up towards the sky, and exhale, bend the knee, step the foot all the way up and through between the hands, and then step the back foot up to meet the front foot, finding yourself in a forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees, rise high up to the sky, palms touch overhead, and exhale, bring it all back down to the heart. Beautiful. Inhale to lift. Exhale to dive. Inhale up to a halfway lift. Exhale to come back to the earth. Inhale, bend the knees, lift and rise all the way back up to the sky. And exhale to slide the hands down to heart center, pausing for a breath cycle in through the nose and out through the nose. Inhale to lift. Exhale to dive. Inhale to a halfway lift of your choosing. Exhale to come back to the earth. Inhale, hands to heart center, hips come back and down. Exhale to come back to the toes. Inhale, bend the knees, lift and rise high. And exhale to bring it down to the heart. Beautiful. One more time. Inhale to lift. Exhale to dive. Inhaling to a halfway lift. Exhaling to return to the earth. Inhale, the hands come up to the heart, the hips come back and down. And then exhale, twisting to one side. The knee finds the out, or the elbow finds the outer edge of the knee, palms pressing together. Inhale to come back through to center. Exhale to twist. Inhale to return to center once again. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees, lift and rise. And exhale to bring it back to the heart. Beautiful. Hands can stay at heart center on the hips. As you inhale, take that right leg about a leg's length back, balancing on the ball of that back foot. Squaring the hips, the left hip comes back as the right hip comes forward, front knee over front ankle, and feeling that same mountain pose through the torso. The abdomen is active and engaged. The crown of the head is lifted. The shoulders are softened. From here, inhale, arms out side to side at shoulder height. Rotate the palms up and then lift the hands up overhead. Breathing deep here for 4 breaths. Finding something to stare at, a focal point that's not moving or shaking, even if you are. And breathing deep, always, always following the breath back to the practice. Inhale, that back foot comes down to the earth at a 45 or 90-degree angle. Inhaling, opening up at shoulder height, squaring the shoulders to the long edge of the mat, coming in to warrior two. And coming into flow over, inhale to lift that top hand towards the sky. Hand comes to the back leg. Exhale to come back to warrior two. Nice little flow with movements that honor your body, your needs, your very being. Whatever it is that you came with to the mat today, let these movements bring clarity. The next time you exhale, pause here in warrior two. Flip that front hand up, looking out over the palm, welcoming whatever is coming towards you in this life. With strength and certainty, you will greet it, meet it, succeed through it. All right, big breath in through the nose. Exhale, front elbow comes to front knee, and the other arm extends out over the ear into a side angle. Big breath in here. Trusting this body to hold you and keep you safe. Option to also bring that hand down to the earth. And then as if grabbing a giant hook, pulling you all the way back up to warrior two. Straightening that front leg out and exhale, sliding forward as far as you can, pivoting those arms and coming into triangle. Always an option to bend at the elbow with that top hand, bringing it to the hip. And finding that connection to the breath once again. Always reestablishing the foundation of breath. One more big breath in through the nose. And then exhale, bend that front knee, pinwheel both hands down to the earth, pivoting on the ball of that back foot. Stepping the left foot back to meet the right. Placing the left hand in front of your face and then turning onto the edges of the feet, opening up the right hand towards the sky. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And with that exhale, the right hand floats down with control, replaces the left, pivoting onto the outer edges of the opposite sides of the feet, and then inhale that left hand up to the sky. And we'll do that one more time on each side. So exhaling, that left hand comes down, switching to the other side and opening with grace and strength. And exhaling, that right hand floats down, replaces the left, and inhaling the left to the sky. One more big breath in through the nose, and exhale, bring it all the way down, dropping onto the knees together, toes together, melting the hips back and down into a child's pose, or bringing the knees to be the width edge of the mat and coming into an extended child's pose. Allowing yourself to soften and surrender into the support of the earth here for 4 breath cycles. Inhale to slowly roll back up to a seated position, the hands dragging their way back up the mat and sitting up nice and tall here. So that same activity in the abdomen to help you lift and lengthen tall while keeping the shoulders softened. Inhaling, the hands in front of you at shoulder height. Exhale to rotate palms out and then swim the hands back and behind, either interlacing the fingers or grabbing onto a strap. Pulling those hands back and down, opening up the heart space, feeling the shoulders roll onto the back. And then exhale, begin to melt the torso over the thighs, bringing the forehead or top of the head to the earth while the arms lift up and overhead. Pausing here in Yoga Mudra. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can do this same pose standing up. And breathing deep here. Inhale to extend out through the crown of the head and making your way back up to a seated position.